This is Ashley with WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 heartbreaking anime flashbacks.
Frankly, you're not even worth the trouble of taking as a hostage. So unless you want a pointless death, leave now.
For this list, we'll be looking at the memoirs of anime characters that were wholly upsetting to watch play back. Did this harrowing trip down memory lane break you, or do you just not have a soul? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, you can catch me on Twitter at AshJBo, so head over there, give me a follow, and let me know which anime list you want to see next. Number 10, Todorokis Past, My Hero Academia. Fair warning, you're going to see plenty of abuse on this list, with this being one of the most shocking examples we've seen inflicted on a character in the shonen genre.
立てこんなもので倒れていてはオールマイトを愚か雑魚ヴィランにすらや
めてくださいまだ5つですよ
もう5つだ邪魔するな
Raised to be a weapon that could dethrone All Might, Endeavor never showed his son affection, disciplining him to the point of cruelty, all the while pushing the rest of his family to their breaking point. The biggest victim here was Todoroki's mother, who was so mentally shattered, she ended up scarring her own son in a moment of madness. You can see why some people are a little uneasy about Endeavor now standing as the new number 1 hero. Number 9, Mimes Past, Saint Sayya. As is usually the case with Norse mythology, sons often find themselves killing their fathers, often caught in a continuous cycle of vengeance and rage. When it comes to Mime, he had always believed that he was justified in his murdering of Falcon after it was revealed that he had slain his parents years earlier. However, Ikki eventually reveals that it had been an accident, and that Falcon had loved Mime like a true son from the day he adopted him. That's some terrible communication right there, typical Asgardians. Number 8, Sayya's Past, Cautious Hero. The hero is overpowered, but overly cautious. For the most part, Sayya was an isekai protagonist who, for lack of a better term, was a bit of a prick all throughout his adventure. Oh sure, he somehow swooped in the final moment to save the day, but that didn't mean his endless hours of preparation and dismissive nature of his own party didn't grate on everyone, especially his poor waifu of a goddess. Then we learned why he was such an uptight bastard.
女神リスタルテ、真実を知る勇気はありますか?
Turns out, back during his first time as an isekai, Sayya was more akin to your typical optimistic and gung-ho hero.
だから言ってよ、あのセリフ。あれを聞くと安心するんだ。
Gonna be okay.
At least until a demon king devoured everyone he loved right in front of him.
お願いだからやめてくれ
Number 7, Zero-Two's Past, Darling in the Franxx. We're just gonna say it, young Zero-Two is the absolute cutest thing ever. Stolen from the Klaxor, experimented on her whole life, the little red princess had never known a single kindness. At least until she escaped and ran into Hiro, who immediately built a friendship with her during their time in the wilderness that was so pure, it'll make you cry.
大丈夫
His genuine affection combined with her introduction to fairy tales became Zero-Two's first and only beloved memory. So of course, the scientists who captured her forcibly erased it.
どうして気づかなかったのだろう。私と彼は違う色の血が流れる別の生き物で。
Number 6, Koro-sensei's Past, Assassination Classroom. Before he was the massive smiles and tentacles that we all know him to be, Classy's resident homeroom teacher was an infamous assassin, though still very much human. Revealing to his students who he truly was before becoming Koro-sensei, we learn that due to extensive experiments and the madness of a certain scientist, the once feared killer was transformed into a monster, but not before he had given his heart to the one woman who saw past his crimes and fell in love with the man within.
Frankly, you're not even worth the trouble of taking as a hostage. So unless you want a pointless death, leave now.
Naturally, she didn't live long enough to grant him a happy ever after.
If you could sacrifice a little bit of your time, give the children the tools to succeed. In a way, they're like you, wandering in the dark, waiting for someone to turn on the light.
Number 5. Raphtalia's Past, the rising of the shield hero. Given how Raccoon Girl will always be best girl, seeing her in any sort of pain will always break our hearts. Alas, for all her smiles and strong will, Raphtalia had a tragic childhood, one filled with death and imprisonment. After losing her parents during the waves, slavers trampled her village and locked Raphtalia and her best friend away, subjecting them to frequent abuse and starvation. The only reason she lived while her friend perished was due to her refusal to scream and give her sadistic owner the pleasure he wanted. Now Fumi, you'd best keep her safe going forward.
大丈夫。きっと盾の勇者様が助けてくれるよ。
Number 4. Gautha's Past, the 7 Deadly Sins. While initially coming across as more dull than man, whose perception of morality were askew at the best of times, Gautha seemed like the last of the sins that we'd have any kind of sympathy for. Alas, we were proven wrong when we got a good look at why he was so messed up.
これは俺からお前への最初で最後の贈り物だ。
Created by a magician to resemble the woman he loved, but with a male body, Gautha was nothing more than an alter ego of a madman. Yet, he still found love with someone, and a princess at that.
感じているわ。
He had found true happiness, at least until she died, and he was blamed for it, sending him into a spiral of pain and confusion that's haunted him ever since.
どうして？ああじゃ。
Number 3. Garas Past, Naruto. What does it take to turn an innocent child into a bloodthirsty monster? Well, making him feel utterly alone and despised is a great start.
やっぱりダメだ。砂が邪魔する。
Unable to control the sand demon locked inside him, Garas' childhood was one filled with isolation, with the rest of the village fearing his destructive power.
よかったら。
帰れよ化け物
Things only escalated when, on orders from his father, an assassin was sent to terminate Gaara. Mortally wounding his attacker in self-defense, they were revealed to actually be his uncle, the one person who Gaara trusted in the world, who would go on to tell how much he despised the poor boy before dying. Yep, that's bound to mess up a kid. Number 2. McGillis's Past, Mobile Suit Gundam Iron-Blooded-Orphans. While often employing manipulation and showed zero hesitation about killing his allies to achieve his goal, McGillis was still shown to be a man with his own sense of integrity, wishing to abolish Earth's corrupt system while serving as a beacon of change.
力が必要だった。
What caused this righteous crusade?
いや、俺の見つけた真理。
How about the fact he was adopted into a noble house, but not to serve as a legitimate heir, but so the man he now called father could abuse him when he was no more than a child? McGillis's rise and fall is woven with suffering, making him one of Gundam's characters of Shakespearean proportions.
しかし、それによって俺の生活が特に変わることもなかった。
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Laws Past. One Piece. Let's face it, everyone in Oda's sprawling world has a terrible history. That being said, we can't help but feel that Law takes the cake in terms of soul-shattering tragedy. First, he loses his family to a plague, is scorned by the survivors, and is destined to die horrifically sooner rather than later.
政府は俺たちが死ぬことを知ってて金のために白煙を掘らせたんだ。
Then he formed an unorthodox friendship with Corazon, who gave him a second chance at life by giving him the Up fruit. Of course, whatever future they could have had as comrades was snatched away when Doflamingo shot him down right in front of Law. That's an intense amount of misery to happen in such a short amount of time.
ロー、移動するぞ。
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.